Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives. Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. Thank you for joining us for our call today. We just are super excited to be here. I feel revved up and ready, and there were several things that were mentioned in our rounds of gratitude before we started the recording about just feeling refreshed energy and exuberance within, being awake, mornings, confidence, the newness of the day, being refreshed, new hope, believing in miracles, standing up straight, just a lot of like uplifting energy is what I'm feeling, and just kind of like that newness of the day. And I don't know, I was just feeling like this horse that's in the starting gate, ready for the starting gun to go off, and just revved up and ready. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. I'm going to set the timer for 90 seconds, and we're going to do a private silent meditation, gratitude for being revved up and ready, and then we'll share. So write down whatever comes to you during this 90-second private silent meditation on revved up and ready. Begin. All right. The thought that came to me first was like being at a starting line and ready, to run. I didn't do track or anything like that, but I remember as a kid, I had really long legs, and I was able to run pretty fast. And so I was be in races, like especially when I was in grade school. And I just remember just like standing there, just feeling that anticipation and everything, just the adrenaline that would just start filling up my cells, so that as soon as they said go, I was just like off like a shot. And that I felt that since then, not, with a race, but I remember just like it was yesterday, standing off stage and waiting to be brought on stage, and just this welling up inside of me of the message that I was going to share, and just feeling the power of the message within me. And my body actually started rocking back and forth, or that's what it felt like anyway. It felt like my body was rocking back and forth. And I thought, I'm not even going to be able to climb these stairs to get up on the stage, because I'm just like, I felt like I was about to collapse because my body was so intense. And I remember grabbing onto the handle and just like stepping up the steps. And I knew that as I was standing on stage, everybody could just see my body vibrating. It almost felt like it was just like vibrating physically. And I thought the audience would for sure be able to see it. But I remember going back and watching the replay of it. And I was like, I'm just standing there very confidently and comfortable. I mean, you can't see what was going on inside of me, but what came out was passion. It just came out as passion. And I think a lot of times, people are afraid of speaking because of those things that are happening inside of your body, the sweaty palms and the shaking and, your voice shaking, feels like it's shaking and everything. But it's not, when people, it's what's happening on the inside is coming out on the outside. And it's that adrenaline rush or whatever it is, that happens when there's something inside of you that you're truly passionate about. And you just want to shout it from the rooftops and you feel this internal joy that feels like you're bursting at the seams. That to me, I know that there are adrenaline junkies and people that just go out and do stuff to scare them. It's like an outside experience to try to create that, to generate that. But I've never felt more. I've done things like that. I've done rappelling and I've climbed, to heights and, jumped off things and stuff like that. But I've never felt the kind of adrenaline rush that comes when you have a message inside of you that you are so passionate about that you feel like you're just going to burst if you don't get it out. So that's what came to me. Who else has something that they would like to share? Mary.
So this is interesting, Revved Up and Ready. I had a dream last night that was crazy, and I'd like to share it.
Okay.
Because I learned years ago to write down my dreams, and then in the writing it down, it's the words that tell you that enlighten you, not necessarily the scene that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And the dream, I was going fast down an interstate somewhere out in nowhere land. And there was, it was a fast speed. And somebody had said, oh, there's a moose running on the other side. And I love moose, and it was running. And so I heard, pull off to the side and watch. So I looked ahead and saw a place, but then I realized I wasn't in the driver's seat. There was nobody in the driver's seat. And so I needed to go up to the driver's seat and put on the brakes and pull over. But whoever was with me before I could get there decided to just turn the car to the right. And we just bounced up the mountain. so cartoonish here, but we bounced up that mountain and landed on top on the wheels, just solid. And what I got from that, there's a little more to it, but what I got from that was that I was going to put on the brakes and slow down and pull over and watch. And instead I climbed the mountain and fast and made it to the top solidly. Mm. And I just thought, what a message for me. And the scripture that I turned to was, he knows your heart and has heard your prayers and will lead you by the hand. Mm. And I just thought, and then the other thing was, that came to me during this, this 90-second focus, because I wrote all this down, was to, just to, it's time to keep moving, and it's, don't slow down, just keep the speed, or just rev it up.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Awesome. Thank you. Wow. What a powerful dream. And, that's what we talk about all the time, of give God the driver's seat. And we don't really necessarily know where we're going, but it's going to be good, and you're going to land solid. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Colleen, and then Phil. I think Colleen had herself unmuted. Okay, we'll go Phil, and then.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I didn't think I put up my hand, but I guess.
Well, you just unmuted. I saw you, but that's okay.
I was just listening and very intent. It was really good.
Okay, thank you, Phil.
So what came to me on this Revved Up and Ready is the difference between being revved up and not ready and revved up and ready, because when I'm revved up and I'm not ready, usually I feel nervous and I feel anxious. I feel heavy, kind of like I have this thing that's coming up. It's getting closer, and like I've got the energy to move, and what I want to do is actually run away. And then when I'm ready, then the thing gets closer and closer. Then I get this anticipation and this excitement, and I run to it. I run to that thing, and with excitement, and that is excitement. And those two emotions are like so similar. Excitement and anxiety, that they can be mixed up so much. But one, really, I think the key word here is ready. Am I ready or not ready? And the thing is that we can tell ourselves, well, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this to happen, and it comes anyway. And then we have this this dread inside of us. But the reality is that we just don't really know what's going to happen ever. And so we can predict it, but and that's what we do. But that prediction story that we do have, is it something that that we're ready for, or is it something that we're trying to avoid? Anyway, so that came to my mind.
Thank you. And, that's so true that there's, we can take action based on a couple of different things. We can either take action based on love, or we can take action based on fear. And sometimes we do need to listen to that fear and just take a step outside of our comfort zone, because it's like, what's going to happen if I don't? Sometimes there is value in taking action based on fear. But fear is not a long-term motivator. We have to find a reason to love what we're doing. And that's what you're talking about when you get kind of past that point of no return. It's like, now I just can't wait. I'm just going to, go. And I thought about that idea of being ready. And sometimes we do say, oh, I'm not ready. And, you kind of hold yourself back. But a lot of times that is because of limiting beliefs of what's going to happen, if I take a step forward, or what are people going to think about me, or whatever. And that's not a good reason to stop. That's not a good reason to wait. If, if we're judging ourselves of not being ready. But then also, we can have the idea, we can, have the faith to take action and go forward, even if we don't feel ready, because we know that God can make us ready. He can make us whatever we need to be. And, really, it's kind of just like checking in. Is it just me, having a fear that I'm not ready? Or is it that you really don't have the skills, but I know it's time, and I trust that God is going to make me ready as I go forward. So that's a moment of choice right there. And yeah, awesome.
I love that. And it reminds me of that scene in The Emperor's New Groove, and they're both floating, along in this, holding on to this log, and they're like, "Don't tell me, waterfall ahead, sharp rocks at the bottom," and they got each other, and they go, "Bring it on,
bring it." Yep. I'm ready. I love that's one of my favorite scenes in there. Awesome. Mary says, very relatable, Phil. Yes, Eileen, just keep going and God will make you ready. Yes, thank you. Awesome. So we've got Laura. Yeah, go ahead, Laura.
So shout out to everybody who doesn't feel revved up this morning. I just want to, because I'm just like grateful for revved up and ready. And what's interesting is that, like, when I was when I was a kid, I did run in school, but I ran cross country, not track. Well, I did run track, but the cross country, when you're ready for a race, there has to be a different way of thinking of revved up, because like that, for me, I feel ready. I just don't feel revved up. But it's not that I'm not energetic about it, but it's like instead of it being me revved up, and maybe this is speaking to a broader sense of revved up than what I have accepted. You know what I'm saying? Like this might be just the way I look at that phrase. But so often in my life, I've looked at revved up as being like, just me, right? I'm revved up. And yet my readiness now doesn't feel like that. Okay. And when I'm energized and ready to go, it doesn't feel like that anymore. It feels like that partnership with God, you know, that instead of being me, like even right now, physically, I mean, you've been up for 3 hours. I haven't, you know, so, I'm still a little bit like pre-coffee phase. And I know most of you don't drink coffee, but I love coffee. But it's not a bad feeling, and it doesn't mean I'm not ready. So it's just, I don't know. I just wanted to share that. I don't really have a good sense of it beyond that. And I don't want to rattle on, but it's, raised up, like somebody who just said that, because I don't have my glasses on. Somebody in the chat just says raised up. Mary said that.
Oh, I also feel like
yes,
yes.
that fits my experience.
Okay,
totally.
Awesome. I love that.
Raised up and ready.
Wonderful.
That fits my experience. Yeah. So thank you.
Beautiful. Yes, I love that. And a couple things came to me as you're talking, and when you're talking about a cross country race, you know, it's not like on edge, you know, for the starting line, because it's more that past preparation. You've got to have the stamina. You have to have developed your muscles and your everything inside of your body to be ready for the long term. And so I love that revved up is more just like this state of mind of being mentally revved up or raised up and ready for the long term. And even just the fact that you're on this call means that you were ready, that, you know, I'm ready for whatever I get to learn on this call. So
yeah. And I feel ready, and I don't feel like I mean, it's not like I'm unmotivated.
It's
so
not
it's
like
you.
It's not like you have to be revved up and like on edge.
I just don't have as much fire as you do at the moment. Like, let's go conquer the world. We feel fabulous, you know, and we are. But but mostly that raised up. I love that. Yeah,
I love that. And you mentioned fire. I remember one time when I was walking on fire, I was like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. And I actually stepped on the fire before I was ready, and it was not a good experience. So sometimes I think it is important for us to get that, you know, even if it's just like, take a deep breath. Okay, here we go. You know, I don't feel like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I've got that calmness about me and being ready.
Yeah, because you can surrender. What I typically do,
surrender.
I surrender within, and then the spirit carries me,
you
know, through everything.
Awesome. Love that. Thank you. Tyree, and then, or Mary, did you have something else? I saw you unmute. I didn't know if you had something else you wanted to add to what we've already been talking about.
Yeah, just reminded me of how, you know, we're maybe don't feel entirely ready, but if we're prepared, if we just, even if we don't think we're fully prepared, but we've prepared, just trust it. It's all been said.
Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you. Tyree.
So my children are really small for some reason. And so my almost 6-year-old son, he's really short, but he can run crazy fast. And in gymnastics, so every Friday we have homeschool gymnastics. And sometimes in gymnastics, he'll be running down, there's this runway to launch off of one of those bouncy launch things. I can't remember what they're called. Anyway, he'll watch himself in the mirror, and it reminds me of Dash on Incredibles, how he's just watching himself run on the water because he's so fast. And anyway, it's hilarious to me that someone so small can be so fast. But the other thing I was thinking of is when I served a mission for for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I served in Southern California, and I realized that I loved Black, like some of the Black culture, and I loved Black preacher is stuff, and I have that in me. And there's a scripture in Second Nephi that I can quote, and I totally sound like a Black preacher, and it's hilarious, I think. But I there's certain things in the gospel of Jesus Christ that just like bring that excitement into my body, and I have that, and I just like I can't even hold still, and I just want to shout, and I just want people to feel it in their bones and their heart, and they want to jump up and shout too. And I think that sometimes Black people coming from their churches where they're very hallelujah, and all that stuff, and they come to our church and they're like, what is this? And I think that we could maybe, I don't know if we just consider it irreverent, I don't know, but I don't think it always is. And I think that when we're really revved up and ready, sometimes we can share in that excitement and bridge that gap between the cultures.
Beautiful. And for those of you who don't know, Tyree married a Black man. So I can just like picture your little 6-year-old running. That's awesome.
And what's funny is he's from Uganda, and he does not have the crazy, like, he does not have that culture that in that part of the, anyway.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to say, is that every single one of us has a different way of expressing that revved up and ready, right? Some of it's raised up and ready. Some of it is just like intensity of feeling, but you feel it like the power is just coming through your eyes. It's not, coming out your mouth. There's different ways that we express that feeling of revved up and ready. And it's all perfect. Thank you. Mary, did you have another thought?
Yeah, I hope you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
But sometimes the adrenaline propels you forward. That revved up and ready. Sometimes we have that, and sometimes we don't. But that you guys were talking about running, and I remember when I was in high school, I ran a 6-minute mile, and for me, I was just like booking it, and I just like everything in me, just that adrenaline, that push, that drive, and I thought, what? I did that, and so there's that adrenaline propels you forward. The fear of, like your book talks about, the fear of staying in the known, staying in what your current situation. And sometimes that adrenaline propels you forward to do the thing that you want to do, like Phil said, but you want to run from, but you move forward. You just do it. You just get out and you just do it. And you don't know how it's going to turn out, but you just know, and you just trust, and you just, that adrenaline, that revved up, raised up, just pushes you forward.
Beautiful. Love that. Just feeling everything in you. I, over this past year, have really been focused on just giving everything to God. And I mean, all that I am, all that I have, all of my talents, just everything. And just feeling that intensity of how powerful that is to just give everything to Him. And then you have access to everything. And I love what you were saying about when you feel like you want to run from something, like the intensity that you feel when you have that fear. It's like fight or flight, that flight mode. And if we can just reverse our direction, just turn around and run towards as fast as we want to run away. How cool that would be.
Perfect.
Thank you. Jenna says, I'm with Lara about the revved up and ready. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and take a deep breath. I appreciate everything that has been shared. This has just been a really fun. Aubrey just barely joined and she said, this is perfect for her. Awesome. Thank you. Let's go ahead and just take a deep breath. I just feel like we've created some really awesome energy right here. And maybe just become aware of something that you had felt some fear or maybe wanted to run away from in the past or didn't feel ready for before you got on this call, something that was like you felt like, oh, got to put the brakes on there. Just be aware of that right now and see if you have any different feelings about it, just even with what has been shared in the call today. And also be really open to let God connect with God. Just really have him in your mind right now of what his mind is for you. He always has good thoughts moving towards you and helping you get to an expected end. And this is an opportunity for you to connect with him mentally, emotionally, physically. Allow yourself to maybe even be in his presence in your imagination and connect with his mind and his will for you and his interpretation of your readiness. And seeing yourself through his eyes, through Christ's eyes, and having the charity for yourself that he has for you, loving yourself and seeing you in your greatness. Just allow yourself to see yourself truly as God sees you right now and your future. I was talking to one of my clients last night and she says, I'm seeing it forward. See it forward. If you see yourself as God sees you and just allow yourself to be carried forward, like that dream that Mary had of just being in this vehicle and you're not the driver and you're just like fast moving and heading towards the top of the mountain to be land solid. Allow yourself to be carried forward. See it forward. And what is the limiting belief about being ready for where it is that you're going on that fast pace? And whatever that limiting belief is, examine the cost of having that limiting belief. How has that kept you from feeling revved up and ready in the past? How has it kept you from arriving at your finish line in the fastest way possible? What's the cost of that limiting belief? And if you don't like that cost, you have the opportunity right now to give yourself permission to choose something different. So if you are ready to give yourself permission to choose a new belief, say yes.
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 Awesome. Thank you. So go ahead and choose 2 or 3 new beliefs. What new beliefs will take the place of that old limiting belief, will allow you to be revved up and ready, raised up and ready, prepared, whatever it is that you feel like you needed. In fact, what is it that you need to believe about yourself to be able to move forward as fast as possible, taking action, going forward? What do you need to believe about yourself? And create a new belief about that. Find some evidence. Remember a time when you were that. Allow yourself to believe that you are prepared, that you are revved up and ready, and that God's going to provide everything along the way. He's going to make you what is needed to be perfectly ready and perfectly aligned with whatever it is that you're creating. And just bring those new beliefs into your body. Just allow these new beliefs to rev you up, to raise you up, to help prepare you, to help you feel ready. Bring those new beliefs in and just allow all of the cells of your body to be completely filled up. Just see them energized, like pistons pumping up and down, and the friction and the heat that's being caused from the intensity and that revved up, your cells moving at a faster rate, everything happening perfectly and in sync with God's timing, and knowing that it is time. And with that new feeling of being revved up and ready, what is the one most important thing that you could do today? What's your inspired shortcut to moving forward and just taking bold action? Letting the starting gates open and just taking off towards that expected destination. What's your inspired shortcut? What's the first step to arriving at your chosen destination, at your inspired destination. And in a moment, I'm going to open it up for some shares. So go ahead and take whatever time you need to get these things written out and encapsulate this feeling of being revved up and ready to take action as soon as this call's done, to take action on that inspired shortcut, and just get yourself ready for that, whatever's needed for you to feel that readiness, that revved up and readiness. And in a moment, I'm going to open it up for some shares. I want to also invite anybody that's feeling like they need some extra support to reach out to me. And all you have to do is just go to askwylene.com. That will take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute call. Askwylene.com. That's a free mentoring session. And we've got a couple of things in the chat. Phil says the desire to run to or run away has to do with the story that's going on in your mind. Awesome. Yeah. We can just switch that story around, and all of a sudden we're running towards instead of running away. And Colleen says, all I can think of is I need time to recover. So definitely that would be a limiting belief. And we do need time to recover. We do need to take that time. Phil, and then Mary, and then Tyree.
So what came up for me in this whole thing is kind of like what came up with Laura the other day. And I'll just remind you, Laura started the call and no one jumped on. Like she was going to do some training and no one jumped on. And so she's like, she just backed off. And then when she got on later, she was like, yeah, I just felt like, this feeling, like no one cares and like, or whatever. But it's just, that's kind of what came up for me too, this feeling of if I do engage, like that no one's going to notice, or that it just doesn't matter that much. And that's my limiting belief that I come up with. And the new belief is that, well, I am becoming, like, this is part of my purpose. And even if no one shows up, even if what I do doesn't get seen, then I'm still growing in my purpose and becoming.
Wow. Awesome. I am growing in my purpose, and I am becoming. Super powerful. I felt that switch in my brain at one point too, where it's just like, I'm just going to explode if I don't share. So I'm just going to share. And if anybody listens, that's great. If they don't listen, that's great too. And you know what? I have so much information out there in the world because of that. It's like created credibility for me, I think, just because there's so much information, and it's like years worth of information. So yeah, just do it. Awesome. Thank you. Mary, and then Tyree.
So last week I had that feeling too of like, well, really nobody cares, but it's okay. So my limiting belief was I need to know and have it all mapped out, and I need to let them know and what will happen. But the truth is, I may not know how it will all play out, but I know I can help you. So we will be guided each step of the way. And so my new beliefs are, I am the answer to prayer. I am prepared and ready. I am where I am. I am in sync with God's timing, and I stay revved up and take action to get it done.
Beautiful. And I love that. I know I can help. I mean, that's super empowering. I can be revved up and ready because I know I can help. I don't know how, but I know I can help. I mean, that's super powerful. And we're guided each step of the way. That's another awesome belief. Thank you. Tyree. Okay, looks like she dropped off. Okay, so we've got Colleen, and then Crystal, and then Aubrey.
there's a couple of things coming to me and I need to work through them. But as I fell on Monday, and on Tuesday and Wednesday, I sort of took it easy and just did the bare minimum. And then Wednesday, I went and got 2 loads of wood and unloaded one of them. And by then my back hurt because I was protecting my knee. And I just needed to take, I think that I still feel some heaviness, but I need to take some time for my knee and just go to the doctor and And I did go and got my knee already scheduled to do the surgery last year. And then I just thought I don't want to be in the hospital with a brand new COVID and having my kids come to help me and stuff. I just thought, no, it's not the right time. But I think I have held back a long time for this, and I just need to go forward. And sometimes I think that there's so many limiting beliefs wrapped up in there. It's just it's just like a knot, and so I think that my knot moved to my back. So, but it's just awesome to move forward.
Yeah. And this is interesting because revved up and ready could mean I'm revving myself up and getting ready for a surgery where there's going to be some downtime. I mean, preparing is, it doesn't necessarily be like running, the quarter mile or whatever. So yeah, there's a lot of value in getting revved up and ready for whatever, just getting prepared, getting raised up, and ready for whatever is next. Thank you. Crystal.
So my limiting belief was I am alone. And so I was writing truths, I am surrounded, I am supported, I am sustained, but it just didn't feel like I hit it yet. And so I looked up on the computer the antonym of alone, and it said accompanied.
Ooh.
And so I feel that is true. I am accompanied.
Beautiful. Oh, wow. So powerful. Thank you. And it when you feel that, right? That it just hits your heart. Thank you. Aubrey.
I don't know why it's showing my hand raised.
Okay. Well, it wasn't raised. I just noticed when people unmute, but if you don't have anything, that's okay.
Unmuted. I am so sorry. I
thought
it was
muted too. That's okay. Tyree, you're back in. Did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah. So my limiting belief that came up was that I don't have inside what I need to be ready. Mm-hmm. And so the cost is fear and hindrance and all of those things. And so I had a bunch of new beliefs. Some of them are I'm raised, revved and ready, just using all of your words, and every cell in my body is primed and ready, and I'm synchronized with God's timing.
Beautiful. I love that word primed. I'm primed because if you're priming a pump, you're pouring water in to the pump to prime it, and no water's coming out yet. So being primed, it's like a car sitting on the starting line on a drag strip, and they're revving their engine and they're spinning their wheels. They're not going anywhere. They're just getting their wheels all sticky so that as soon as they take off, they'll be able to go fast. So there's a lot of cool stuff with regard to being primed. Thank you. Revving up. Love that. Awesome thoughts. We're going to go ahead and end our call today. Thank you so much. This has been just an awesome call. I feel revved up and ready and excited for what's next. We will not be on our call tomorrow, Saturday or Sunday. So I encourage you to continue your gratitude call and your gratitude and your daily GPS throughout the weekend. Laurie, you're unmuted. Did you want to share something before we end?
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay. Mary says in the chat, the thing is we aren't always revved up, but when we are, it's time to move. Yes, when you're revving up, it's because you're moving. It's because you're fixing to move. You're fixing to go somewhere. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. And we'll look forward to being back together on Monday morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time. And we'll talk to you then. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, thanks so much for listening. And I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. I'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.